This is LeftWink LightWork coming to you from Long Beach, California with a special story time for the current energies of May 2020 and beyond. The topic today for our story time is death. This is a difficult topic to speak about with children. It's also a difficult topic for us to understand as adults. I always find it inspiring when there's a book to help us explain these energies and understand them. This book that I'll be reading today does just that, and it was gifted to me by my beloved friend, soulmate, and mentor, Anne Perrah. She gifted this book to me shortly after the death of my father, and it's brought me great comfort, and because of that, I'd like to share it with you today to help explain to us and to help us explain to our children exactly what living is and what dying is as well. The story is called Lifetimes. It's by Bryan, Mellonie, and Robert Ingpen, and it's a beautiful way to describe and explain death to children and to ourselves. Let's read. There is a beginning and an ending for everything that is alive. In between is living. And as we see, there's some bird's eggs in the nest, symbol of new life and fertility of springtime. All around us, everywhere, beginnings and endings are going on all of the time. With living in between. This is true for all living things, for plants, for people, for birds, for fish, for trees, for animals, even for the tiniest of insects. Nothing that is alive goes on living forever. How long it lives depends on what it is and what happens while it is living. There's a sea crab. Sometimes living things become ill or they get hurt. Mostly, of course, they get better again. But there are times when they are so badly hurt or they are so ill that they die because they can no longer stay alive. This can happen when they are young or old or anywhere in between. It may be sad, but it is the way of all things. And it is true for everything that is alive, for plants, for people, for birds, for fish, for trees, for animals, and even for the tiniest of insects. There are a lot of living things in our world. Each one has its own special lifetime. Even the fruit trees and the vegetables of the ground. Trees that are tall and strong grow slowly, standing in the sunshine and in the rain. Some of them live for a very long time indeed, as long as 100 years or more. That is their lifetime. Rabbits and mice grow up in only a few weeks. Then they go on to live for a year or two, crunching up carrots and nibbling at cheese until they grow old and very tired. And it is their time to die. That is how it happens to be for rabbits and mice. It is the way they live, and it is their lifetime. Flowers and vegetables planted as seeds at the beginning of spring, when the earth is warm, grow quickly to live through the heat of summer. The days pass and they become old. During autumn, when it is cooler, then when winter comes and it is cold, they die. It is the way they live. That is their lifetime. Butterflies live as butterflies for only a few weeks. Once they have dried their wings, they flutter and flit from leaf to flower. At first, they are bright and quick, but as time passes, they begin to slow down until finally they can go no further. They rest for a while, and then they die. That is the way butterflies live, and that is their lifetime. Birds grow up quite quickly too. It is often no more than a few months from the time they hatch until they are strong enough to fly and feed themselves. How long they live after that seems to depend upon their size. Mostly, the bigger they are, the longer they will be alive. That is the way birds live. Some for as long as 50 years, others no more than 2 or 3. But however long, it is their lifetime for each one. Fish swimming in lakes and rivers or in the sea can be so tiny it is hard to tell that they are there at all, or so big that the only way to describe them is enormous. Again, as far as we know, it seems that the smaller they are, the shorter will be their lifetime. But that is how it is for fish. Their lives can be as little as a day or so, or as long as 80 or 90 years. It is the way they live, and those are their lifetimes. And people? What about people? What is their lifetime? Well, like everything else that is alive, people have their lifetimes too. They live for about 60 or 70 years, sometimes even longer, doing all the things that people do, like growing up and being grown up. And in this picture, you see multiple generations. This book is a little outdated, as you can tell. Now, people can live well into their 80s, 90s, and even 100s, especially with medical technology and medical advances. It can happen, though, just as it does with other living things, that people become ill or they get hurt. Mostly, of course, they get better again. But there are times when they are so badly hurt or they are so ill that they die because they can no longer stay alive. It may be sad, but that is how it is for people. It is the way they live, and it is their lifetime. So no matter how long they are or how short, lifetimes are really all the same. They have beginnings and endings, and there is living in between. That is how things are for plants, for people, for birds, for fish, for animals, even for the tiniest insect. Everywhere. That is their lifetime. And that's the end of the story. So at the end of this book, one activity you can do with your child is talk about what they read and how they feel. And if someone close to you has passed away recently or even a long time ago, you can take this time to talk about the memories that you shared with that individual and celebrate them in your own special way. It can be through creating a piece of art, writing a short poem or story about that person, documenting memories, or maybe even looking through old pictures or videos to help you feel connected to that departed loved one, or that loved one who has transitioned to the next phase of existence. Thank you for joining me. I hope that this book has brought you some comfort. And I think the one token of wisdom that we can take from this is that to everything there is a season, a time to live and a time to die. And what matters most is how we live during the in-between. Live well, live, love, learn, and grow. Until next time, thanks for joining me.